Welcome back, all you Fabricants and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today, Lottie and I are reviewing The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 9, the season finale. It's entitled Look for the Light, and it's coming to you from HBO, streaming on HBO Max. So, what do we think about it, and should you be watching? Before we get to the review, get down there, hit like on this video. Well, Lottie, the train's pulling into the station. We are here at the very last episode of season 1 of The Last of Us. The previous episode was pretty pivotal. Ellie nearly got killed and or raped by a religious cult leader, and Joel went medieval on a bunch of people, and it was basically a pretty awful situation that cemented the bond between Ellie and Joel as father and daughter, or surrogate father and daughter. But now they got to finish the mission, go find the fireflies and get the cure, using Ellie somehow. And this picks up, like, I'm gonna assume, because it's not snowing anymore, it's spring or something, so it's a month or so, after all of that stuff that happened in Colorado. And they I guess they best been on the road, and they finally make it to their destination. Joel has a pivotal decision to make, and Ellie is just kind of she's the hope for the world, but can they actually finish what they started? So I feel like I covered that fairly well without revealing anything. I was trying very hard not to spoil anything there. But it's look, this show's been pretty damn great, and so I was really curious, like, how do you stick the landing here? Like, stay true to the video game, be a compelling story, generally speaking, close the deal, if you will, and at the last minute. And I have to say, I mean, I quite like the episode. This is not my favorite episode of the series, but like, out of all episodes, it's up there. I'd say it's out of the 9. It's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5, somewhere around there. Just because it kind of, like, wrapped everything up, and then also left some an interesting ending, and that gave more context about Ellie, her birth and what, her immunity and all that other good stuff. And then also we got to see the Joel that I everyone keeps complaining, like, Joel's so soft. He's and I'm like, this motherfucker's soft, then rocks are pillows, because this dude's good God, is he a monster in this episode? Is that a fair assessment? He's a fucking monster in this episode. Just like he's the fucking Terminator in this shit. And it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how this is one of those times I can tell, oh, this is a video game sequence, and I just feel like seeing it in live action is actually worse than what you have to do in the game. Like, I don't know. But I mean, I think I love seeing Joel being a flawed, conflicted individual, that he makes a decision to do some shit, and he gets on with it, and he's efficient about it. And we see more about Marlene. We see, Ellie's mom. We see Ellie herself, and, just kind of dealing with her trauma and everything, and this bond between these two people. And it drives a lot of what happens, and it's kind of messed up. And but I loved it. I liked this episode. I thought they really kind of stuck the landing. They did what they were supposed to, and they made me look forward to the next season. So anyway, that's my non-spoiler stuff. What do you think, Lottie?
Yeah, pretty much you said what I pretty much said what I like this episode. It wasn't the best. Still, my favorite episode is episode 5, the one where they showed the bloater. Unfortunately, the only time we see the bloater in this season, which is kind of shocking. Which, how many, one thing I will critique is, please, more infected, please.
Right.
But the one in true only critique of this episode in particular, and it kind of took away from the finale in my opinion, and it goes back to what I said in episode 1 where I said I'll talk about it in the season finale. I do not like how they made Marlene's character at all. Like, she is a completely different person than she was in the game, and it seemed like they tried to make her like the game at the end, and I didn't believe her at all.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't believe, like, honestly, like, because I've asked people who watch the show, did you actually believe she gave any two shits about Ellie the way she acted towards Ellie in the first episode? I'm like, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. You know what I mean? And the reason why I don't believe her is the way she acted and the way Ellie acts towards her. I
Yeah.
don't believe. So it's like they did Marlene's character a very bad disservice in
Hmm.
this show, because in the video game she's like Ellie's aunt. Like, they're
Right.
extremely close. So when you see what happens at the end, it hits even more. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like literally in this episode, I felt like Joel didn't even have to do what he did. I'm literally going like, he didn't have to do what he did, because in my thoughts, I'm like, she doesn't care about Ellie. She
No,
doesn't
she
really
doesn't care.
care.
She doesn't care about Ellie. She cares about that cure. I mean, here's the thing: is I think that she does, but like in the same way that Dumbledore cared about Harry Potter from afar, he's literally just setting him up, like, at a distance where she didn't. She set up Ellie to be raised in a situation where she could keep an eye on her without actually having to interact with her. You know what I'm saying? So she set her up to be raised in the Fedra school, and
It's just it's kind of like, here's the thing that just confuses me a little bit about the way they did it, is that in the show, I mean the game, Ellie is basically a firefly. You know what
right.
I mean? In the show, she dislikes them.
I
You
know.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they flipped it around, and I think that's one thing. It may be a bit disconcerting if you know the story already, because for those of us like me, I have no preconceptions about this. So the fact that she was raised in a Fedra school, for military school to train more Fedra grunts, like, okay, makes sense to me. Why? I mean, why not? And then in this story, that it really is again a Dumbledore situation where she was just raised by other people and was looked at by from afar by her godmother essentially. So there was no close relationship. And then so if you look at it that way, if there's no close relationship, then everything that Marlene does in the story, her mannerisms, the way she interacts with Ellie, makes sense. She's someone who knows she should have a close relationship with this girl, but to her, she's not. She's nothing more than her dead best friend's daughter, who she has an obligation to, but she doesn't really have a connection to, and that's why, later on, spoiler, when she's like, we have to make this decision to basically kill Ellie to figure out what the hell's going on in her brain chemistry and how we can replicate it. When she makes that decision, it's much easier, right, than it would be for Joel, who actually knows her, who knows her better than Marlene has ever known her in her life. And
Yeah.
so
That
we see those two reactions to the potential death of Ellie, and both of them are perfectly willing to, like, you know do whatever they got to make it happen.
yeah. And that's why, like, at the final part when she was telling Joel, "Trust me, I understand." I'm like, "No, you don't.
No.
You are so full of shit. I don't believe you at all." Because some people are like telling me, who were like my friends who watched the show, they're like, "Oh, she cares about Ellie." No, she does not.
she
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 just
does in the most abstract, in an abstract, I have an obligation sort of way. I
yeah,
don't.
just
Yeah. she's obligated. Like it's as if she's a distant cousin that is in trouble, and you sort of feel like you have to, but you don't really know this person. Like you're related, you don't know them, so it's not. I'm not saying it's an easy thing but I think after nearly 15, 16 years of being a freedom fighter, her ability to sacrifice people for the greater good is pretty substantial. She weighed it out, and the one little girl versus saving the world, that's a pretty good trade-off. And it helps that she doesn't really know Ellie, not really.
Also, I will say this though too. The whole entire procedure of what they have to do to Ellie is just as stupid as it is in the video games as well. It's just as stupid.
Those guys don't know anything. That's another reason why when Joel, and spoiler, Joel is like, nah, bitch. And starts going in on literally every fucking person that has a gun anywhere in that building. When he starts doing that, like, it makes
honestly,
sense. Like you have to think, yeah, he's not a scientist or anything, but they're literally just like, we're just gonna, break her brain open and get some samples and shit, and we're gonna see if we can replicate it. So he's like, it's not even we know what we're doing. It's well, maybe this will work. Deal.
Maybe this will. That's why I was like this. Like even when I played, like, because I'm just hot take. Last of Us had a stupid ending. I'm just saying. It's not how they handled it with Joel and everything. That wasn't stupid, but the premise of it is stupid. There's other people that have came out and said the same thing, and I completely agree. Like, you could have at least said, hey, let's run some tests and see what we could do. Yeah. And here's the part that just makes it, because Last of Us 2 makes it even worse. Why? It's like, why?
it's weird. Now, I get it that, I mean, look, we're getting into the weeds here. But they're basically just like, it's burrowed deep into her brain, like, since she's been developed. It's grown up around the cordyceps in her brain, has been there since she was a baby. And her brain has developed around it. So I get that, yeah, this would be some pretty ridiculous surgery. But I'm just like, y'all couldn't do it arthroscopically or something like that.
Exactly like this.
I'm just curious, but like, hey, okay, I believe you. It's been 20 years. There's been no advances in medical technology. You're kind of cobbling shit together from whatever's left over. I get it. Like, hey.
But the thing about it is, like, you couldn't like slightly open her head up and take a sample. Nope, you gotta break it open and rip it out her brain. I'm just like,
I mean, but also remember, this is a world where life is precious, but also cheap.
I just hope, really hope, because I'm just gonna be honest with you. The video game, when they try to explain why the person came up with that, it's even dumber. I hope the show realizes that and looks how dumb it is and makes it a better decision. Make it a better reason why they came up, because it's like literally in the video game, it's retarded. Like, it's just like, it's even worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we'll see. There's plenty of room for that. Season 2 has a lot of promise. Real quick, there's two things I want to talk about. One is kind of the moral dilemma that Joel faces. Before that, let's just talk about, like I said before, Terminator Joel, and finally seeing the monster that that guy in the first episode was like afraid of. He was so afraid of. Here's the thing. I knew as soon as he woke up and she said she's being prepped for surgery, and she wouldn't say, like, she basically, he was like, well, what's going to happen? And he said, we got to go in the brain. He's like, so he basically put two and two together, was like, so she's not going to live through this. And as soon as I saw that last block slide into place, and or the last piece of the puzzle slide into place, I literally said, oh, he's about to kill everybody. Like, it never occurred to me that he wouldn't kill every single person in that hospital. And I was surprised he spared anybody, to be honest. But am I wrong about that? Like, as I know you played the game, but just as watching the show, it was that moment when I knew he was about to kill everybody, and I saw Marlene see that look in his eye, and she knew he would kill everybody too, and he proceeded to, and it was like. It was ridiculous. Like
He didn't kill everybody.
Well, he didn't kill everybody, but I'm saying he killed everybody who would be a threat.
In the game, just to show you in the game, he killed everybody.
Yeah, no, I believe that he would kill
Everybody.
that, but I looked at it and I was just like, we've seen a lot of shit in this story, right? We've seen a lot of like ridiculous, horrible things going on, and that may have been the most horrible acts of violence we saw in the whole show, because it wasn't like when Ellie killed David. There's a bit of righteous, for when she did that. When Kathleen got killed by the little clicker, we're like, yeah. But like in this one, the Fedra people are correct. And some of them probably don't even know what the hell's going on. They're just there, right? And not the Fedra, the Fireflies. They're doing the Fireflies are doing the right thing, and he proceeds to fucking kill everybody in like the most cold-blooded, you guys are not people, you're obstacles sort of way. And I'm telling you, I was like, this is awesome, but also horrible. So
I'm just gonna let you know, if you think this is bad, wait till season 2. Let you know that. If you think what Joel did was bad this season, wait till season 2.
Did he do the right thing?
Did he do the right thing?
Yeah.
I believe Joel did the right thing. And this is the reason. And the reason why I say Joel did the right thing is because Marlene and the Fireflies are these people that think they're heroes. They think they're heroes, and they think that they're these people who can save the world and everything like that. And they'll do whatever it takes to save the world. There's so much of that they're willing to basically manipulate and make people feel bad to get them to do what they want to do. Good example. They set up, good example, look what they did to Ellie's friend. Just be honest. They were making her, they're turning this little girl into a bomber. You know what I mean? And they manipulated her to the point that she will become basically a villain to her own people that she grew up with. And what she did with Joel, she manipulated Joel to but it didn't work because Joel's a veteran, but she thought it worked. She doesn't truly care about Ellie. She cares about the promise she made to her friend, but besides that, she doesn't really care for Ellie. And then the way she manipulated Joel into saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this for the things of thousands or hundreds or anything." Let's be honest. Do you really think because this is not the Fireflies in the video game, the Fireflies in the show, who have shown to bomb and kill innocent people? Do you really think they'll use that cure and give it away for free? Just be honest here. No.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not really sure about all. I mean, like, I believe you. What I'm saying is that, they were right in the sense that their goal, whether or not it's to control the world after that, but their goal is definitely to bring back the world from before, and the only way they can do that is to cure this thing. And this is their first real sign that there may be some kind of way to cure. Now, did they have the capacity to actually follow through and actually save the world? I mean, maybe not, but I don't think there's any doubt that their aim was actually to do what they were talking about. Whether or not they could follow through. And so this is their opportunity. And to be honest, I don't think. I think that it was the most selfish thing possible, and I understand completely. The thing is, I totally understand Joel's choice, and it was wrong, mainly because in his mind, the life of one person outweighs the lives of every other person in the world. Now I get that, there's a reason why he might think that, because he's jaded and he lost Sarah and all this other shit that's gone on for 20 years. I get it. He's still wrong, because at the end of the day, I get that he has this relationship and everything, and it's a hard sacrifice to make. But if he had even asked Ellie what she wanted, if any of them had asked what she wanted, would he have still, like, for instance, if they had woken her up and said, hey, this is going to kill you, and we can't guarantee we can make a cure out of your, what we find out of your brain, but there's a chance that we can turn this into something that'll save the world and turn it into the world that you never knew, right? Or cordyceps isn't a thing. And if he gave her the choice and she said, okay, kill me and find out what you can find out, I think he still would have killed everybody, because it was more important to him that he had this relationship with Ellie as his surrogate daughter than to even do what she would want. And that's why he lied to her. To me, that's why he lied to her, because he knew, even if Marlene didn't really know her, he knew that she would choose that, or at least he feared she would.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll say this, because I don't know how they're going to do anything. I feel that Joel, because here's my thing. None of them asked Ellie how she felt. And I felt Ellie will still say yes. But here's my thing. And this is the thing that what the act that Joel made was wrong, but I feel what Joel did at the end of the day was still right. Because the person who made the absolute wrong decision is Marlene. That is the person who made the worst decision of everybody, is Marlene. She should have said, find another way. She should have said that, because honestly, all of this happened. It's completely Marlene's fault. It's completely her fault, because she promised her friend that she will be there to protect her daughter, and she failed. And this is what happened as a result. She failed in every aspect of doing what her friend asked her. She wasn't there when Ellie was a child. She wasn't there when Ellie was a teenager. And she wasn't there when Ellie needed her most. She failed her. And because of that, the consequences, they all died. Because this all could have just been, because honestly, maybe Joel will act crazy. But Marlene should have said, find another way. I don't give a damn. You will find another way. This girl is not going to die. We will find another way to get a cure. We will, if we have to do tests on her, if we have to find another way, she's not going to die. You know what I mean?
Well,
because that was the best decision.
Well, I think that would have been for someone who's made life or death decisions for many people that she knew much better than Ellie, that's a hard call. Again, this is a brutal world where people have to make decisions like this all the time. So I don't know that there would have been a different course of action, or even a better course. I mean, she could have been like, well, let's study this and see what we can do. But I think they still would have arrived at the same point. And the difference is that, they would have, in this case, they would have had a better chance of catching Joel unawares if they had to deal with him. Actually, if anything, if she really wanted this to work, she should have just had them shoot Joel right then and there. And all her respect for him doing what he did to get her across the country is what kept him alive. Which, her mistake, she knew who she was dealing with. Right? Anyway, look, everyone's going to be questioning that. And I think that's a good thing. This is a good show to just sort of talk about and wonder at. You were saying earlier about that there wasn't, you hope there's more, zombie stuff going on in the next season. I honestly, I give or take it, because story wise, in terms of actually moving a story forward, the zombies were a nice backdrop, but seeing them all the time was whatever to me, to be honest. Not because the zombies weren't good, but because, man, I like so much more all of the shit going on between people. All of that stuff, because zombies are just the shit. They do what they do, but, you can't make a hurricane be dramatic. But other than that first time, it sort of blows shit over. Tornadoes are dramatic in the moment, but in the long term, it's people that are actually a problem, and kind of learning to deal with them.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. It's just the only thing I wish, because towards the last few episodes, it felt like the infected were becoming just plot devices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the only way I'm like, I'm not saying we should just litter infected every episode. It just started getting to the point that they were just plot devices, and they only showed up when they needed something to get the plot on. And I was just like, well, I wish there were more involved to get you, like, for example, I wish there was like more infected, because never mind. There's just, because that will go into season 2, and there should be no. We'll talk about that later whenever season 2 comes out.
Yeah, probably if we're lucky next year, because I don't even think they haven't even started filming. On this, so we're talking about late next year. So, but either way, I thought this was a great season of TV. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Almost makes me want to play the games, but you know me. I'll just take your word. It's cool and fun. But yeah, I think they did a great job. They have surpassed in one season what The Walking Dead was aiming for 7 or 8 or however many fucking years that thing was on.
Yeah, I've been telling people, if you want to, I've been telling people since Walking Dead first came out, if you want a good story, just play The Last of Us and forget The Walking Dead. And everyone's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, those same people are now going like, man, you were right, man. I told you play the game. Oh, all
right. That's real. Yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. But, HBO, they're always doing their thing. So, anyway, those are all our thoughts on this last episode of The Last of Us. What did you guys think about it? What did you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And, of course, you can always hit us up. supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And do us a favor, get down there, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the channel. It helps us grow, helps more people to see these videos. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining us. Come back to the channel. Got plenty more reviews and podcasts for you to enjoy. Until then, I've been Mo de Poupée, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.